If I were to ask you guys what the most important thing in your life was, what would you say? Go ahead, think about it. I'm sure a lot of you would say family was the most important, or maybe friends were, or maybe even your job, career, or money was most important to you. I don't know how many of you would say food, or in particular your favorite food, but that is what I would say. I'm not an expert chef, and nor do I cook regularly, but the one meal that I will always be willing to make and love to do so is spaghetti. Spaghetti has been my favorite meal for I don't even know how long, ever since I first had it probably, and it has always been a meal in which I had wanted to learn to make. I don't know what it is about this particular meal that makes my mouth water like no other food can, but it is such a simple and easy meal that is absolutely bursting with flavor that I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 12 months a year, every single day. I'm sure you all have a similar food that does to you what spaghetti does to me, but nothing can beat it, in my own biased opinion, of course. Okay, so while researching my favorite food, I came across the definition of spaghetti, and it actually just refers to the pasta noodles made of milled wheat and water. I didn't know this. In my house, spaghetti refers to a specific type of pasta, which I will describe in glorious detail soon, while simultaneously making all of you hungry, I promise. There's so many different types of pastas and so many different variations of sauces that can be put on spaghetti noodles. I love pasta in general, and I know it is an immensely popular food choice, but to me, it is a special meal. I will find myself going for seconds, larger than my first helping, where I won't even think about seconds for other foods. There's just something about pasta that is just so comforting and, for lack of a better word, feel good. Now, my favorite type of pasta, or spaghetti as I and my family call it, is spaghetti noodles with a tomato and a meat sauce. Obviously, I add in all sorts of different things to make it even more flavorful and unique. But the base is just that, red sauce and ground meat. This may not seem like a special or colorful dish, and in fact it seems pretty mundane, as most restaurants serve it and probably most families cook it. However, in quote-unquote choosing my favorite meal, spaghetti with a meat sauce took the #1 spot as soon as I first remember having it. I even remember as a small kid, maybe in 1st or 2nd grade, writing about it and giving it that revered place as my favorite food. I think everyone can agree that mom's cooking or dad's, whatever it may be, is the best in the world. And while my mom makes them and has made some exquisite meals, I don't think she has made a better meal than a simple yet delicious spaghetti. And I know that every time she makes it, or even asks me to make it, which is not that often I must admit, I end up starving myself all day long in anticipation for the best home-cooked meal in existence. Again, in my own biased opinion. Behind me are some of the ingredients I use in cooking the most flavorful pasta in the world. Not even the Italians can beat this recipe. Since this is a how-to demonstration, I will try to describe in detail the entire process from start to finish to the best of my abilities, while letting your imaginations fill in anything I miss. A little disclaimer, the meal I am about to describe in its making is to feed a family of 5. Adjust the ingredients and amounts of each ingredient to better suit the quantity you want to make, but this will be enough spaghetti to feed 5 people and still have a little left over. Now to make the meal. The first thing I do is get the onions and dice them up, or chop them up into little pieces. I'll then want to start cooking these onions to a caramel brown right away. So I will add some cooking oil, and in my case, coconut oil, to the pot at high heat. And then I will put the onions in using a large spoon to stir them around. Then I will leave them and move on to dicing about 4 tomatoes, although I sometimes do 5. I don't have any tomatoes for the demonstration today, so you guys just have to use your imagination. Again, I will move them to the pot and put these in with the onions. Next up, I'll want to put the garlic in, and so I will take about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic and use a garlic crusher to add them to the onions and tomatoes. Note, I am still stirring the ingredients already inside the pot periodically, so as to not let them burn. Next up is the meat. Ground beef is the choice meat I use, and I will have defrosted a pack of this before starting, so that when I add it to the pot, I can begin mashing it up right away. After I finish mashing the meat, I will get out my tomato sauce, or red sauce, and pour the entire can or jar in, mixing and stirring all the while, getting everything to cook nicely. Almost done. I will get some fresh basil from my backyard or the supermarket and chop it up into little pieces, and then add that into the sauce as well. The last ingredients for the sauce are some salt, and this varies because I don't like salt, but many other people love it. And finally, about 2.5 teaspoons of sriracha. This gives the sauce a hint of spiciness and a little added flavor. Again, stir the sauce and then put the lid on. Now for the last and most important thing, I get a pot of water and get it to boil. And then I take a full packet of spaghetti noodles and break them in half and put them in the boiling water. Set a timer for 11 minutes and let the noodles cook while turning the heat on the sauce pot down to low, and stir every 2 minutes or so. Once the noodles finish, your sauce will be done, and you can pour out the boiling water and let both the noodles and sauce cool a little before serving yourself up a healthy portion of the world's greatest food invention, spaghetti. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I have inspired you to make spaghetti your new favorite food. Till next time.